And welcome back, Dragon Slayers. Welcome back, world that have tuned in to hear the last Will-n-Testament of Angie Stone. Welcome back, the family of the bereaved, the Brown family. Welcome back, my Geechee Gullah tribe. We are here with the world-renowned, the hitmaker, Angela Stone, in spirit, not in the flesh, but in spirit all the same. This is one of my soul sisters. This is one of my homegirls. I have been feeling just awful since she passed. We have spent the last few days together, and man, I have been going through it. But I must plug through because she has given me her last Will-n-Testament. We have been journeying along the old river, and we have reached the river Algiers. So Angie has left me for a while. She is hanging out with the 7 sisters, renowned in African-American fame as hoodoo princesses from the New Orleans area. She ran off and is hanging out with the girls. So now that she's gone, I will go ahead and deliver some of the messages that that she has bestowed us with. And she said she really did like the Bible verses yesterday and being able to use the cards. She said that was right on time. You might need to start an oracle school because these things they don't teach. She says, man, using them cards was like the Nutty Professor. You'll have people running back to the Bible if you can deliver a word like that all the time, just flipping through. Wow, that's a power. You must have got it from the moon, but you have brought it down to earth, and you're sitting on top of this big rock right here. And man, when you let it strike, let's see what she says. When you strike out with that weapon, these cards, the power of the brown crystal skulls, you know how to take them into the darkness, descend into chaos, destroying the ego. Then with these cards, you can purify it with fire. And then you make hardened people more fluid, able to tap into their feminine side. And now they have their open imagination. This will give them an essence. But your essence is the moon. That is your home base as the watchman. Welcome. I am the watchman. I am a metaphysical preacher by day and a watchman by night. I am here to deliver this message from my sister Angie, part of the Geechee Gullah tribe. Thank you for tuning in, the YouTube community. This is just me sharing some of my gifts and talents with the world. This is a piece of my body. This is a body of work. Thank you for joining us. I know some people don't believe in the cards and believe that this is something demonic or something that's not of the church. But confessions and different exorcisms and all those type things have always been a part of the church. It's just a part that is not for all. So it is what they call a cult, or you have to join the club. And that's just ascending higher than just the normal folk going into the clergy or other routes that are attainable, but through Christ, not through other means. And so those other means are deemed demonic or ruled over by demonic forces. So welcome back. Our sister Angie is here, and we are going to go into the word. Get ready. All right, these messages are coming in from the moon. The moon is the elixir. I'm beginning down here. The moon is the elixir of life. It has a divine spark, and it allows us to have this philosophical power. able to speak these words that have been coming down from the moon. These are the messages that the sister Angie are speaking. And these are the energies that are going up and down divine. Or these are the messengers or fairies that are coming down. As Angie looks down from the moon, she is now part of the moon water. This is where we all must return. This is the center of influence. This is where we all come from. Excuse me, y'all. All right, this is where we're at. She says, have patience. I spent this morning and mourning of losing my old self. Someone told me to bury her, but I told her to rise. But I can't, because now my soul has transcended, and now I am part of the duck pond. I am floating in the vastness of space. I have recently gained so much wisdom through experience by shifting and by downloading and uploading. And with all these new awarenesses, I began to feel frustrated at the pace that others were advancing or seemingly standing still. My friend circle had trimmed down to almost nothing, and I almost had no one around to provide me the things that I needed. Even calling on my sorority sisters and the close ones, things all seemed different from the past. Seemed like I was surrounded by those who were in alignment at one time, but I had up-leveled in my vibration, and that had left me lonely once again. It seemed like I was the only one always talking about doing the right thing. It wasn't like preaching to the choir. This seemed disappointing when dealing with those friends in those friend circles, for they had not awakened in the same way that I had. They had some of the same opportunities, but they did not choose to live. They were just slipping right through their fingers because they were not astute, and not used to seeing what a miracle looked like or an angel in disguise, because their third eye was closed. They did not have a grandmother like mine that told them to dream bigger and think bigger and have bigger goals, meet others just as they are, but not to change ourselves, never being closed-minded or having our eyes closed to what is going on around us, but valuing who we are and still respecting others and not pushing too hard, allowing them time to rest in between each teaching, giving them something to hold on to. And this was my grace. This was my true beauty. For I was sometimes looked at the +1, but I was really the 1+. Get it? That was kind of deep, Angie. She says, I am just trying to have clear communication. May me and your mind, Mr. Watchman, work together and find mutual understanding. May you see the true me, and may I see the true you. And this is the same type of relationship that I have with my sisters and my family and my lovers and my brothers. And this is how our words should have been And this should have been how we treated each other in reality. But communication sometimes seemed hard or twisted or up and down, and sometimes just cloudy, leaving me with feelings that I could not understand. Sometimes people seemed obscure, and sometimes they seemed open and upfront. It was hard to judge. And so I just looked at people around me as up and down or fair weather fans, or people's motives would change depending on the situation. But I still accepted people for who they said they were until they proved me wrong. I accepted people with truth and bravery. And as long as people showed me what they said, then I still gave them a chance. But if they didn't, I made it clear that I was judging them no matter whether they were older or younger. But I judged them on what they said and then what they did. So it really wasn't me that came between the relationship. It was their actions. Because I tried to exist with the beauty, and I love to sing, and I love to mix it up, and I love to bloom and have the essence and aura of a flower, a yellow flower, with just a little fire that could be sparked, if not left alone or if rustled around too much. But I am a beautiful soul, and this is the image and personality that I shown forth. But people tossed me around, and I mixed it up with different circles. Some wanted me to sing, some wanted me to dance, and some wanted me for other things. So I had a good experience in my younger days, in my 20s, as I began to flourish and start to learn myself. But people that wanted to win were all around me. And so there were a lot of stops and starts in relationships and jumping in and jumping out. But it seemed like the people were very narcissistic, so they would jump in and get what they wanted, and then they would jump out, but always leaving the door cracked, never closing out the situation. They would just disappear and then try to pop back up. But I still walk by faith and not by sight. And I learned how to relax, relate, and release these type of relationships and cut them off early, like 3 o'clock, she says. Because my peace came from within, not how others seen me or felt, or even how they thought. And I realized as long as my thoughts were straight and I knew what I was doing and where I was going, there would be nothing but green lights. And the Lord was my chariot, and he told me to believe and stand on the rock. And so on the solid rock I stand, and that's why I planted my seed, because God is the healer of all ages, and he brings peace, love, and healing to all my situations, and he keeps my heart open. And this is a mudra that we can actually do. How about everybody out there in the world? Let's try to do this mudra. It keeps our heart open. And it makes us secure with ourselves. Because if you don't want to be by yourself, how do you expect anyone to want to be with you? This mudra is often used to overcome sleeping difficulties, so it works well at night. And if your pelvis or your hips or your joints are tight, your lower back, this mudra also will help you loosen things up. So what we want to do is put our hands together, similar to two fists with the thumbs tucked in, and then the pinky and the next finger, we have those raised up in a temple type formation. And then we do our deep breathing exercises. So we'll go in for 4 and then in just a little bit more, then out for 4 and then out just a little bit more. And we'll use this deep cleaning, deep flushing exercise. And this will keep us from closing off our heart chakra and becoming too domineering in situations, because being too tight will not allow enough room for the seed to grow that we are planting. It will make the soil too dry, hard, and parched, or maybe too icy, too cold of an environment for your seed to germinate. So do this as you see the red color to warm things up. Let's go, Angie. We're getting through it. All right. So she's saying this point is a foreshadowing for something to come. Because people all around you are doing all sorts of things. They are not standing on the Bible and the 10 Commandments, for they have exchanged the truth about God for a lie, and they have worshiped created things rather than the Creator, who is always praised. So God has given them away to the gatekeeper of lust. The women will exchange natural sexual relations for unnatural ones, and the men likened also shall depart from the natural relationship with the women, being drawn to unnatural relationships with men. They will find themselves up for judgment for their actions, for the intentional falling away from the truth and retaining of the word of their fathers, of the Creator. They will receive a token of a depraved mind, so that they will go far, far, far along the road of sin, being filled with every wicked gatekeeper, every wicked demon, every piece of, and every seed, and every crystal of wickedness will be embedded in them. And this will make them more evil and greedy and more depraved. And now they will become full of this energy of evil, murder, strife, deceit, and malice. You will find them gossiping and lying and hating on God and acting in insolence, arrogant, and boasting of the things that they have, and how they use all their time and all their creativity to do more evil. And what do you get? What is the prize? Let's hear the drum roll. Drum roll, please. What do you get? Put it in the comment section. What do you get for this type of behavior? You get initiated to enlightenment. You worship Baphomet, the church of Satan. You have taken the left-hand path. You have went from light to dark. You have went from masculine to feminine. You have based everything in chaos. And Baphomet, he may have deceived you and given you good health and financial prosperity and told you that you did not have to honor the 10 commandments and you did not have to fear Yahweh. But you still shall come in enlightenment. Because you will begin to have chronic pains and things will not be feeling right, or you will not be feeling tip-top. Yes, your health may still be going along and you may have financial prosperity, but it is just something about it. When I wake up in the morning or when I sit by myself in the quiet, it is like something is hurting, something that I just cannot reach, something I cannot touch, something I just cannot describe. And this is because I am burning up from the inside out. I should have learned how to put an end to the things that did not serve me while I was growing up and before I had so much stock into this game. But now I feel like I went all in, like Bishop, like Tupac, and Juice. And now I'm looking like XXX, Extension, because I have this big juice box, and this is what people think about me. But this box has me on fire. This must not be the right deal or the right place, because this fire is feeling like fibromyalgia or something. I am just irritated in my own skin. And then I count to 10 and ask myself the question again. And then when I ponder on the answer, I realize that actually having too many choices along the road, there were so many exits I could have taken on the highway that the options made it difficult. If it had just been good or evil or left or right, I would have been able to find the right choice. But it was like a multiple choice question. It was like the SAT test. There were 2 answers that were obviously wrong, and then 2 more exits on the road, or maybe 3, that all seemed to be possibilities, all depending on the respective or the point of view that I was looking at it from. Now I see that in life, all of these are tests. For when I boast and say that I have gotten past something, this test often will reappear later on down the line in a different shape or form, just to make sure that I have mastered this feeling or thought or this ability to discern the truth. So we must never be boastful of anything that we claim to have conquered. This is how we leave the door open. Just as how a narcissist can creep their way back in. All right, we'll take a quick pause. Live, last Will-n-Testament, Angie Stone. This is the Watchman, your metaphysical preacher, your teacher, your person that's here to teach you how to ascend, how to have your spiritual awakening, and how to stand up and be a soldier for Christ. We'll be back in a minute.